Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darwin, and in today's video, I'm going to talk a bit about War Mode and World PvP. Because in Legion, I think for the first time in a long while, in literally the whole expansion, that we finally experienced some actual World PvP without some crazy shenanigans with War Mode being enabled. And the way that Blizzard does it, it just feels so great. It's so awesome seeing so many more people just engaging each other when it comes to PvP. Turning on War Mode, putting a target on the back and being like, okay, I want to engage in PvP, I want to get extra experience, I want to get extra rewards, but I'm going to have to work for it. And how the Alliance and Horde clashing together, it's back. It really feels great. The only time you would see something like this is on a PvP server, and generally it would either be one server where it was Horde dominant, a lot of the server maybe Alliance dominant, so the minority faction would usually just get stomped left and right. But sometimes on a few other servers, which you have like equal numbers of Horde and Alliance fighting one another. And now that equal fighting can literally be enabled by going to Armory Storm and enabling War Mode. And it feels absolutely awesome. As a rogue, I mean, I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do. I'm going around and just attacking people out of the shadows, out of the dark, out of nowhere. But also it's kind of cool teaming up with a bunch of people, seeing like a 40-man group attacking another big group and engaging each other. And you see some of these things that are really representative of what Battle for Azeroth really setting itself up as a huge Alliance versus Horde conflict. And when you watch some of the players, one of the things that I love is just how, I guess, how both factions interact with one another with War Mode. Of course, you have everybody attacking one another, but you have Horde or even Alliance holding certain key positions as if they're strongholds just for some world quests. When you go to Argus and you try to get some world quests there, it's the best place when it comes to gearing your character. It is a place where you can do a lot of world quests and get probably the most amount of rewards for very, very little time commitment. You just have 3 different zones without any flying to them. You go there, turn on War Mode, you go get your rewards, get out, you'll get more rewards out of it in order to get your character either caught up or get some dailies done. It's a great hub, but because there's no flying or none of that, no one can escape. So when you have a bunch of Alliance players that are like, hey, we want to get our dailies done, but in Macquarie, in one of the best hubs, one of the best areas where everybody's spawning in, we can't even go there. We're just getting ganged by these dirty, dirty Horde. Or if the Horde, let's say they want to go Cocoon or whatever, any of the other zones, they're like, hey, we got some dailies there, we got a rare there, and there's a bunch of dirty, dirty Alliance hanging out, holding that zone all for themselves. We're not going to let it happen. We're going to go there and take it. So instead of thinking of like war fronts where you'll be fighting for the war front to take over a zone for a week, one side Horde, then after a week Alliance comes in and takes it over in a PvE instance, and then next time the Horde comes in and takes it over in a PvE instance, you're seeing players engaging with each other like they used to do from back in the day. You don't have none of that Warlords of Draenor sitting in garrisons all by yourselves doing your own thing, Facebook games. You don't have people just like cooped up and flying away from each other as soon as the kind of PvP combat engages and people just staying mostly to themselves. No, you have people that actually have to engage each other with PvP. It's like, you want to take this objective? You want to get the extra loot? You got to go through us. So you got to call your friends, call your guildies. They'll call their friends and guildies, and now a bunch of people playing together. And what's great about it is the rewards. A lot of people are finding that the rewards are worth because, I'll be honest, when you are running around as a rogue in World PvP areas, you realize not everybody's prepared. There's a lot of people that are running around with adaptation as a trinket. Yeah, it's a pretty big giveaway. Like, I mean, I'll sap them, there goes your trinket, now you're easy pickings, and like, that's it. It's literally a one-shot. But it's cool to see so many new people, so many inexperienced people joining PvP. Because people are looking at this and saying, yeah, you know, the rewards are worth me just going around and maybe dying a couple times or having to find a group of people to do these things together. People are finding the rewards of 10% extra, just a little bit more. Get more value out of the time you're given. And it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's great. I feel like World of Warcraft is taken, and I said it before, I feel like BFA is like setting itself to be a different game. I know that legendaries are still involved. I know that a lot of the trinkets are still useful. I know that 4Ps, 2Ps bonuses for PvE are still applicable, but with the balancing technology that Blizzard is doing, not the scaling, not the template system, but rather a balance of how much damage you deal to each other in PvE compared to in PvP, the balancing kind of does work on a very, very loose level. It kind of sort of works, at least for now that we have it. So while not every 1v1 situation, 1v2, maybe you get dogpiled by 10 players, while not every single one of the PvP situations and, I guess, meetings with one another on the opposite sides is going to be the most balanced experience for every single class and specialization, but I feel like it's at least taking steps closer to it. And I'm somebody who knows at least the basics on just about every single DPS specialization that has been out on a BFA. I've played them all, I've tried them all, I've tried the very, very basic things. I'm not proficient in all of them. The only class I would say I'm close to proficient is, of course, Rogue. But at least I've seen what the other side of the grass is, you know, what the other side sees, how do they feel. And yes, I feel like Blizzard's still making changes and updates, but at least overall, for the majority of people engaging, on average, I think it's a much better experience than what we had in the past. With legendaries being able to one-shot each other, people being able to global one another, while it is funny, it just wasn't all that fair. And the only other thing I would love to test is the PvP scaling for low level versus higher level, and that we'll see in BFA when we start leveling, or maybe I'll end up leveling a couple of characters in my free time, seeing if I can get them all the way to max level. Maybe I'll try some Warmode here and there. That could be very, very exciting. Overall, Warmode is great, and if you guys haven't tried it, I would at least give it a go. Try turning on Warmode if you're somebody who wants to engage in some PvP. If you're somebody who wants those non-scripted events, those organic moments between player versus player type of events, where you just go out in the world and it's a wild, wild west, you get a little bit extra rewards for the time of engaging there. But if you're going in there for the idea that, okay, I want to see some PvP action, but I also want to get dailies on the side, that's probably the best way to approach it. I wouldn't approach it purely in, okay, I can go in, get my rewards, and get out. No, you're probably going to have people engaging in PvP. So at least I would look forward to the PvP engagement if you're going to try it. But I think everybody should try it. It feels awesome, especially when you get in a whole group together. You're watching Alliance, a Horde drive each other out, and the swings and back and forth, and the group effort and the organization that people are going back to. Even just go outside of Stormwind or Orgrimmar and look at people trying to duel one another. It's awesome to have those places just populated again all of a sudden as soon as you enable War Mode. PvP and World PvP has always been a huge part of the game, and for me, World PvP in particular, when there's a lot of people engaging, the world feels alive, it feels organic, it feels there's a little bit of that uncertainty in there. It's not just a bunch of scripts and boss mechanics that are predictable, it adds a little bit of that player feedback. But the only way you can make that happen is if you create an environment where players that want a PvP can actually do that with a more or less balanced approach. It doesn't have to be perfect. None of us ever asked for World PvP to be perfect. A lot of us at PvP know there's going to be imperfections here and there. But as long as the game is fun, that's really the only thing that matters to me in the long run, and I feel like a lot of other people share that idea. And I would say right now, World PvP and War Mode, just the idea of it and how it functions, it's actually really fun. It makes me want to get on with a bunch of friends and try to run around in the world and see if we can gang people, see if we can attack squads of people trying to quest together, see if I can go as a rogue and pick some fights with people out there leveling, maybe a group of people and seeing if I can 1v2, 1v whatever. It's very exciting and very, very cool. And I feel like it opens so much opportunity for the game in the future. We're in pre-patch, so it's not like a lot of huge, amazing content is going to come out. We're going to have a couple events here and there. But with enabling a war mode, it's kind of like we can make our own war games. We can choose what we want to do. We can just have a fight, a huge fight out in the zone. We can hold Alliance or Horde strongholds for a while. Players can just play and just enjoy the idea of Horde versus Alliance, the battle for Azeroth. Like, it really brings in the whole feel of the battle for Azeroth. Factions clashing again. And it's awesome, and it's something you can choose to do or choose not to do, depending on what kind of player you are, whether you want to engage in PvP situations or it just might not be a thing. That's completely up to you. But I will say one thing, if I see any of you guys on the game and you are engaged in War Mode, please understand that I will not feel bad about ganking you out in the world. You chose to turn on War Mode, you made your bed, you gotta sleep in it, and so will I every time I play. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you haven't checked out War Mode, please go ahead and do. It's honestly a blast, and I've had so much fun with it so far on the pre-patch. There's not too crazy updates going on yet, so while not too crazy updates happen just yet, this will be definitely holding me off until BFA finally comes out. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Try some War Mode, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.